All-Star Saturday night in Cleveland. Got a lot going on. Obviously, it's a fun time for the league, a fun time for the NBA, fun time for the fans in Cleveland. Obviously, the Cavaliers are playing some good basketball right now, so it's a fun time for Cavs fans as well. But obviously, the three-point contest, slam dunk contest, you got the skills contest as well. So bunch of different contests is going on out there tonight, and I'm just looking at it. Back in the day, it used to be the slam dunk contest was the that was it. That was the beauty of the night. That was the most anticipated thing of that night. Now it's a three-point shooting contest. And obviously, the way the league has gone, a lot of people are shooting threes a lot of the times. And so we look at it now. I believe in the finals, you got Trae Young in the finals there, Kennard out there in the finals. So we'll see what happens in terms of who's going to pull it off All-Star Saturday night. And, we could talk about All-Star games, and I feel like no one does the All-Star game quite like the NBA. The NFL, the Pro Bowl, garbage. MLB All-Star game, I mean, at one point they tried to say that the winner of it, if the American League wins, well, then the American League team gets home field advantage, in the playoffs, in the World Series, and then vice versa. If the NL team wins, then the National League team gets home field as well. So, but the NBA, it's exciting. It's fun. It's as good as it gets in terms of All-Star games. No one does All-Star weekend quite like the NBA. It's just that simple. No one does it like the NBA. They don't. And the NBA, it's when it comes to All-Star games, they get it done. It's fun. Now, All-Star games in general, all of them are not that good, right? There is no good All-Star games. There's just not a good All-Star game. It's just not. But in terms of all the ones that are out there, MLB, NHL, NFL, NBA is the best. And there's sometimes you get some good games along the way, right? You get some good games along the way over the years. It happens where you get lucky. You get some good games. I remember the 2001 one where, Iverson and Marbury and Kobe Bryant were dueling down the stretch there. That was fun. But you don't usually get that. You usually get snooze fest. You usually get something that's not very fun. But sometimes you get lucky. And sometimes you have it where it's fun and it's a good time. So we got Karl-Anthony Towns now going up. Karl-Anthony Towns had a pretty good first round. Now he's going up. We'll see what he can do. I would think with Cat shooting, the way he shoots the ball, he would have a difficult time. It's kind of like a set shot, but he's making it. Made the first, made the third, made the fourth. He's on the first rack, and he made the money ball there on that first rack. Second rack, Cat is hot right now. Third, oh man, 3 in a row for Cat. 4 in a row for Cat. Money ball. 5 in a row for Cat. He's on fire. Cat. Cat putting up another streak. He missed one. He got 2 in a row. Missed one. He had 2 in a row, but he missed one. They made a third. Money ball. Got that. Cat. The green ball. He got that as well. Cat's on fire. Stroking it. Cat is stroking it. Karl-Anthony Towns getting it done. Wow. It's amazing how the game has changed. Final rack for Cat. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he missed it. Missed another one. Money ball. In and out. What a nice little run for Cat there. Woo! That was good. Karl-Anthony Towns. It's amazing how much the game has changed. It's amazing how much the game has changed. Bigs shooting threes like we never seen before. It's amazing how the game has changed. The game has evolved. It's a beautiful thing. It was a soft thing if you saw a big shooting jump shots. You were considered soft if a big was shooting jump shots. But that's changed now. That has changed. And that's, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I will say this. At one point we were saying, well, the NBA needs to change in terms of, it just became a dunking league. It wasn't as exciting. And then, the Steph Curry came along and everybody started shooting threes. Everybody and their mama started shooting threes, and it was beautiful. It's beautiful. I think it's great, man. I don't hate the three-point shot. Trae Young, second rack. Trae Young. Whoa, Trae Young, money ball. Oh, that's in. Trae Young with the green ball. Got it. One in a row, two in a row, three in a row, four in a row. In and out, Trae Young. The green ball. In and out. Trae Young. Splash. Two in a row. Short. Three in a row. Four in a row for Trae Young. He's on the final rack. One in a row. One, two. Three in a row. Four in a row. Young. Oh, missed the money ball. Missed the money ball. Trae Young. Ice Trae. Warm up, baby. Warm up. Warm up. Trae Young, I mean, his ability to shoot the jump shot, man, is second to none. And, you know, it was so funny. Initially, when you had Luka and Trae, the thought process was, okay, Luka was going to be better than Trae, got off to a better start. But in reality, Trae has gotten farther than Luka has in the playoffs. Luka hasn't even gotten out of the first round. Trae has gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals. So, something to think about. You think about it. I mean, do I think Luka's the better player? Maybe, but it's close. Luke Kennard up. Kennard made the first, missed the second and the third, made the fourth. Kennard with the money ball, made the fifth. Kennard, second rack, got it. 1, 2, 3. He missed one. 5, got the money ball. Now the green ball for Kennard. In and out. Third rack, Kennard. 1, 2. In and out. Made the third one. Money ball, splash. Green ball for Kennard. In and out. Kennard. 1. In and out. 2. Missed again. Looks like it's going to be Trae Young and Cat. Kennard. Short. Splash. 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 Splash with the money ball. Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard can shoot it. Sniper. Luke Kennard is a sniper. Big time. Got it done. Gets it done. Karl-Anthony Towns, baby. Cat daddy. Got it done. Again, Cat, you know, he had a rough last season for Cat was rough. He had a situation with his mom. He had a few other members of his family who died of COVID as well. And, you know, for him to be able to get this and get this award, and, you know, Minnesota at this point, Minnesota is vying for a playoff spot. Minnesota is in the playoffs at this point. They're vying for a playoff spot. So, you know, there's a chance they're going to make the playoffs, which is good for Cat and good for his situation. I mean, right now, Minnesota's the 7th seed out west, 31-28. You know, obviously you want to get to that 6th spot so you don't have to be involved in the play-in tournament. 2.5 games behind the Denver Nuggets for the 6th spot. But the Minnesota Timberwolves are playing some decent basketball. Karl-Anthony Towns, of course, playing at an elite level, playing at a high level. Obviously, Anthony Edwards, the young man's getting it done as well. So Minnesota's in position at this point where they could make the playoffs. They could make the playoffs. Probably going to make the playoffs. It's a matter of whether or not they're going to be in the play-in game. But more than likely, you know, barring anything crazy, they're probably going to make the playoffs. Karl-Anthony Towns is your winner. He wins the three-point contest. Congratulations to him. Got the trophy in the air, celebrating. and Karl-Anthony Towns is your 3-point champion. Good for him. Good for him. It's always, the bigs are taking over. Biggs is taking over. Karl-Anthony Towns doing some big things, shooting at a high level, obviously, tonight, All-Star Saturday night. He got it done. I know there was some weather out there in Cleveland earlier. I think Friday or Saturday was some weather out there. But it's good to see Cleveland. You got the top 75 players out there as well. So it's a good weekend for the NBA. COVID restrictions have been limited to a degree, so they're not what they used to be in terms of the restrictions. I know last year was a lot of restrictions, but this year, the restrictions have been limited, and it's a good thing. And slowly but surely, we as a country are opening up little by little. And, we'll see what happens going forward. Obviously, there's probably some bunch of variants out there, so you never know what's going to happen going forward. But it is exciting to see fans in the building. It's always good to see fans in the building, especially what we saw last year. You got Karl-Anthony Towns. He's clutching on to that trophy hard, man. He's clutching to that trophy hard. Congrats to him. Got it done. Big victory for him to get that 3-point shooting contest, to get the victory there. He's got the trophy, and kudos to him. So he stroked it, man. He was stroking it in that final round, getting it done in that final round. So now it's on to the slam dunk contest. And, it used to be the signature event, if you will, the slam dunk contest. Not what it used to be, but I contend this. I will say this. We talk about the slam dunk contest losing its luster, but the dunks that these dudes are doing look at, if you sit there and watch the old slam dunk contests and see the dunks that those dudes were doing in comparison to what we see now, it is night and day. The dunks that these dudes do now is ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And then you got Cole Anthony, Jalen Green, Obi Toppin, Juan Toscano-Anderson. So those are your participants now for the dunk contest. I'm going with Obi Toppin. That dude got hops, but he always, the smaller player, the guard, when they dunk, it looks special. It looks nice. It looks nicer if a Cole Anthony is dunking, right? So you kind of don't want to bet against a little guy, but I think I'm going with Obi Toppin, but we'll see what happens. Jalen Green's intriguing as well. He's an intriguing one, the high flyer. Dude's super athletic, obviously. And so he's an interesting one as well. But I think I'm going to go with Obi Toppin, but I'm kind of leaning toward Cole Anthony as well. But actually, it should be fun. The dunk contest out there in Cleveland, Ohio. Of course, it's cold out in Cleveland, Ohio. And so, it is what it is. It's indoors, so it don't matter. None of that really matters. I guess if you're trying to hit up the nightlife after all this is over, I guess that could be difficult. But I don't know what kind of nightlife there is in Cleveland. Obviously there's something. There's got to be something. But I don't know to what extent. But we got, the dunk contest coming up. So that should be fun. And again, I say this, man, look, over the years, we've seen some sick dunks, whether it was Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, them going back and forth. That was a lot of fun, man. Those dunks, I was like, yo, just make this a tie. I was just saying, let's just make this a tie because, look, those guys, the dunks that they were doing were just ridiculous. They were just ridiculous. And so whether it's Zach LaVine who won, whether it's Aaron Gordon who won, let's just make it a tie, man. Let's just make it a tie and just forget about it. But, ultimately, Zach LaVine got it done. He was the one that got the victory that season. So, look, if Cole Anthony was, let's just say an elite point, let's say he was Damian Lillard. If Jalen Green was LeBron James, right? If Obi Toppin was Donovan Mitchell or if Obi Toppin was another NBA superstar, we would look at these dunks a little differently. If superstars, see, the beauty of the dunk contest and why it was so special back in the day was because, again, it was the people that were doing it. It was Michael Jordan involved. It was Dominique and Wilkins involved. It was the stars of the league. And, you always was hoping that LeBron James would get into a dunk contest. At this point, that's done. There's no possibility of that happen at this point. But you always wanted LeBron James to do it. He kept teasing and teasing and teasing and teasing, but it just never happened. It never happened. LeBron James would not do it for whatever reason. And, you kind of wanted it to happen because he was a superstar. And it's like when Michael Jordan did it. He wasn't where he was, say, 91, 93, but he still was an ascending star at the time. Dominique was a star when he did the slam dunk contest. So when you get the stars doing the slam dunks, that's when it's exciting. That's when it's fun. And again, hopefully, we can get back to that where the stars are the ones who are dunking the basketball in the slam dunk contest. Hopefully we can get back to that. Hopefully we can get back to where the stars are the ones who are doing big things and doing the dunks. Because again, the only difference, right? The dunks that they do now today are better, a lot better, 10 times better than what we saw in the past. But the difference is the people that are doing it. Even Dr. J back in the day was doing the dunk contest, right? When Dr. J was doing it, people were like, it's Dr. J. He's a superstar in this league. It's exciting. So that's what we have to get back to if we are the NBA and in terms of the NBA and All-Star Saturday night and the dunk contest. You wonder, I always wonder, man, at some point, at some time, do those dudes, do you just run out of dunks to do? Or like, do you just run out of dunks to do at this point? I mean, there's so many dunks that people have done to this point, and like, how much more can you do? The level of imagination that you need to get these dunks off are incredible, man. You need a level of imagination, and obviously you need athleticism, and obviously if you're in a dunk contest, you have that, but you need imagination. And we saw, over the years, the imagination of the dunk contest with Dwight Howard putting on the Superman cape. That was fun. That was exciting. That was something different. And I remember Gerald Green that year, he did it, blowing out the candle dunk. He also did a dunk with his shoes off. I mean, like, the creativity there was special, and it was amazing. And again, we don't necessarily, we get a lot of that, but it's the names that people don't recognize. People don't recognize the names. And that's the problem. Now, we recognize Karl-Anthony, we recognize Jalen Green, Obi Toppin, and even Juan Toscano-Anderson. I mean, we recognize him, but I don't know how many people do recognize Juan Toscano-Anderson. I don't know. But I will say this, again, it is about names, and it is about reckoning star power. And if the star power is right in the dunk contest, well, I think you're going to get a lot of people who are going to watch. I think you're going to get a lot of people who would be a little bit more excited about the dunk contest if there were star power. And again, it's kind of difficult, it's kind of hard to get the stars to do it, but you got to find a way to get those stars to do it, because again, it would just add to the intrigue of it all. It would add to the intrigue. It would make it more exciting. It would make it, people, it would be more, I'm not going to say it's going to be must-watch TV, but it would be more than say, any other thing, like if LeBron was in the dunk contest, I think it would be must-see TV, and I think it would have people excited. I think people would be excited if LeBron James was in the dunk contest. People would be excited. And, I think because of that, because we don't have the star power, that's the issue. That is the issue. And until that changes, that could forever be the issue with the dunk contest. But the dunks that they do are just sick. They are just sick. Ridiculous. And so we can hopefully get to that point where we can have that. We can hopefully get to that point. Who knows? Doubt it, but who knows? So back to Karl-Anthony Towns, 29 in the final round. Dude was on fire. Karl-Anthony Towns was on fire in that final round. I mean, he was stroking it. Karl-Anthony Towns was stroking it in that final round. And, he stroked it in that first round, record there. I mean, the guy, I didn't think because of his stroke, and it was kind of like a set shot to a degree, I didn't think he would have success in the 3-point shooting contest. I didn't think so, but he pulled it off, made it work, got it done, got the victory. Kudos to him. Kudos to Karl-Anthony Towns. Cat getting it done, winning the 3-point shooting contest. Right now, there's a performance out there. I think the DJ Khaled, a few others out there performing out there in Cleveland, Ohio, before we get to the quote-unquote main event, which is the dunk contest. So, and, obviously, again, I've said earlier, no one does All-Star Saturday. No one does the All-Star game like the NBA. They do it the best. They continue to do it the best. And so so it's not the best. I mean, All-Star games in general are not great. They're not good. But again, the NBA does it the best. So let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. So at this point, the second half of the season gets started Thursday. So these guys are going to get some time off, obviously. They're going to get their party on out there in Cleveland, right? They're going to have a good old time out there in Cleveland, Ohio. They're going to have a lot of fun out there in Cleveland, Ohio. So, the All-Star break is done on Thursday. I mean, they get back to action on Thursday. And, obviously a lot of storylines as we go into the second half of the season. But LeBron James said today that he does not rule out a possibility of him going back to Cleveland. LeBron going back to Cleveland. And it would only be fitting if LeBron James ended his career in Cleveland. Now, obviously, he's got one more year left on his 2-year, $85 million contract that he signed last season with the Lakers. But he said he's not closing the door. He says the door's not closed on that, talking about Cleveland. I'm not saying I'm coming back and playing. I don't know. I don't know what my future holds. I don't even know when I'm free. So the reality is LeBron James started his career in Cleveland, 2003, number 1 overall pick, came back, won a championship in 2016, went to Miami, came back, won a championship in 2016, multiple finals appearances with Cleveland. And, he brought a championship to the land. He brought a championship to Cleveland. So to me, and I know he's also saying he wants to play his final season with Bronny James, his son. So if you're a team, right? Let's just say LeBron James' son, 6'3" at this point, 43rd prospect at this point in terms of ESPN 60. So in terms of the 2023 class, so 43rd prospect. I don't know if that's going to, 6'3". So is he going to have NBA talent? Is he going to be able to be good enough to make the NBA? But if you're a team, if Bronny James is there and you're a team, do you say to yourself, well, an opportunity to get LeBron James, maybe, I go after his son. Now, he won't be eligible to be drafted, until like 2024. At that point, LeBron will be 39. So you don't know how much does LeBron have left at age 39. I mean, he's still playing at a high level. He's still playing at an elite level. He's still playing at a very, very high level. Now, I don't know how much LeBron has left. But I do know that at the age 39, I do feel like he still will probably play. Because I still think, barring a major injury, of some sort, he's going to get it done. Barring anything major, barring any injury that could prevent. Because you look at Kobe, late in Kobe's career, the injuries started to pile up. The shoulder, the Achilles, right? The injuries started to pile up for Kobe late in his career. And ultimately, it ended his career. He wasn't the same player. So the injuries kind of took Kobe out to a degree. LeBron has been relatively healthy throughout his career. No major injuries for LeBron James. But at this point, the injuries are starting to pile up at this point. Last year was the groin. This year's the knee. So these things are starting to pile up. And, at some point, at some time, he's going to be done, but I don't think he's done just yet. And I do feel like maybe at age 39, when his son, Bronny, is eligible to play in the NBA or eligible to get drafted, maybe it'll be a situation where, see, let's just say the thing is, I look at Bronny and I'm looking at what he has in terms, 43rd prospect, 6'3", you know, we'll see what he's going to be or what he's going to become as a player, right? We don't know what Bronny is going to become as a player. But again, if LeBron is still playing at a decent level, I know he said he wants to play his last year with his son. If he's still playing at a decent level at age 39 years old and you're a team, do you just draft Bronny with the thought that you can get LeBron to come your way? If LeBron's still playing at a decent level, you probably do it. You probably do it if LeBron is playing at a decent level, right? Why not? That's LeBron James. But I think it would be cool if LeBron did go back to Cleveland. The first time he left, I didn't like it. I didn't like the way he went about it in terms of the decision show. If he would have when you do that decision show, in my opinion, he had to go back to Cleveland if you're going to do a show of that nature. Because you're saying you're breaking up with somebody in a city that has been championship starved, a city that's had a difficult time, putting a winner out there. You're saying to them that you're breaking up with them publicly. Like, that's a public breakup, right? That's a breakup on a big stage when he did the decision show many moons ago. So I didn't like it. But at the same time, LeBron had to do what was best with LeBron. You got to figure, when LeBron James came out of high school, he's from Akron, right? He went to Akron, went to Cleveland. So he didn't leave the state of Ohio. He lived in Ohio pretty much his whole life. So for him, I remember him saying that Miami for him was kind of like college. It was his opportunity to get out of Cleveland, his opportunity to, see something different. And so I get why he left. And also, it was an opportunity to join up with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, an opportunity to win titles. Because he had a difficult time in Cleveland. He couldn't get by Boston's big three, couldn't get by Garnett, Allen, and Pierce. So he kept running into those guys. And ultimately, he went with Bosh and Wade. And guess what? They found a way to get past those guys. And they also found a way to win 2 titles back to back. So he did what he had to do in Miami, came back to Cleveland, did what he had to do there, went to Los Angeles, and did what he had to do there. At this point, you do wonder if LeBron James is ever going to win a title again. He might have a difficult time winning a title again because you never know what's going to happen with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has been in and out of the lineup in terms of injuries. That match, that chemistry, what they added with Westbrook and everything is just not working in Los Angeles. It's not working. And I love Russell Westbrook. I love Russell Westbrook. The guy is big time. He's an amazing player. I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. But I do think at this point, you got to figure out, does he contribute to winning? And, he had, averaged a triple-double last year for Washington, but, and they got to the playoffs. But they went out in the first round. They were an eighth seed. So they really, all those triple-doubles got you an eighth seed. Now, it's not all on Westbrook. But, coming to Los Angeles, I just didn't like the fit. I always, you look at LeBron James and the success he's had over the years. He's usually done it with a point guard that can shoot pretty good. He's usually had a point guard that can shoot decently, right? When he's had his success and won titles and whatnot. But I don't know. I just think Westbrook, while the numbers are great, while, he's putting up, the triple doubles and all that stuff, while all that stuff is great, it wasn't equating to winning, right? Oklahoma City all those years. And I know those teams obviously clearly wouldn't have got there without him, but they were first-round exits for him. They were all first-round exits. Again, not all his fault, but they were first-round exits. So I didn't think at this point, Westbrook, I don't know if he's a winning player at this point in his career. Just not a winning player. And don't get me wrong. obviously very difficult to average a triple-double in the NBA. That's one of the hardest things to do. I mean, to average a triple-double. Obviously, it took a long time for someone to do it, to average a triple-double in the season. And ultimately, Westbrook did it. He done it multiple times. And that was one of those records back in the day. You were like, is anybody, Oscar Robertson did it. And you were saying, is anybody ever going to average a triple-double again in the NBA? Like, the question was legitimate questions about whether anybody would average a triple-double again in the NBA. And Westbrook not only did it, but he did it multiple times. So it's like you can't just dismiss those triple-doubles and say, well, it doesn't contribute to winning. It's not that big of a deal. No, you can't dismiss those. I'm not going to dismiss those triple-doubles. Those triple-doubles are impressive no matter how you look at it. But again, it didn't contribute to winning. And that is that. And so the Lakers at this point, where they stand at this point, the Lakers are a team I don't think they're going to win it. They're not going to win a championship this year. That's clear. I think the Lakers are not going to win a championship this year. Their chances of winning a championship I don't think they have a shot. They don't. And I would be shocked. Now, you would think with Anthony Davis and LeBron, you always got a shot, but Anthony Davis, one of the reasons that I had a hard time picking the Lakers with LeBron and Anthony Davis is I didn't trust AD. I didn't trust his ability to stay healthy. And he's healthy in the bubble and he got it done, right? Made a buzzer beater in the finals against the Miami Heat. But I still contend to this day if there was no bubble, the Lakers would not have won the championship that year. If there were no bubble, the Lakers would not be champions that year. I think the Clippers were better, and I think the Clippers, if they were outside of the bubble during that particular season, I think it would have been a totally different story. So I think the Lakers benefited from the bubble. I think the Miami Heat get into the finals that particular year. I think they benefited from the bubble, right? I do. I think Milwaukee, I know Giannis got hurt there, but I think Milwaukee probably would. I don't think Miami would have got out of. I don't think they would have got out of the Eastern Conference if it wasn't for the bubble. But it is what it is. You could argue the other way. You could say, you know what? It was a lot going on during that time. People were dying from COVID. Obviously COVID was running rampant when it first came around. Then we had the situation with social justice, George Floyd and all that. So there was a lot going on in the world during that time. So you could argue because of how much was going on in the world that championship might have been better than any other championship because of what they had to go through to get it and what was going on outside of the bubble. So, yeah, I mean, social justice piece, I mean, that was a big thing during that time. They even, the Bucks, they even, decided not to play a game after the Jacob Blake situation. So, right, it was an interesting time there. And, it was, you can argue because of all the things going on that maybe that championship was magnified. Maybe it was harder. I don't know. Neutral court. It's a neutral situation. And then, you got to also take in the mental health piece. You being in that bubble and not having access to the outside world. I mean, that's hard. Obviously, they didn't have meager accommodations. Obviously, they weren't in prison. Obviously, the accommodations they had were okay. They were, maybe not NBA level accommodation because those guys live in multi-million-dollar mansions, some of these guys. So maybe it wasn't to that degree, but it was something, right? So you could argue that the mental health piece could have played a factor in that and what happened there. You could argue that the mental health piece played a factor, but who knows, right? Who knows? But give the Lakers credit, but it ain't happening this year. It ain't happening this year. It ain't happening. I know he got Karl-Anthony, got his daddy's jersey on, taking his shoes off. He's gonna dunk in Tim's. This is New York. Got his Tim's. Is this dude gonna dunk in Tim's? He's putting on Tim's. That's not smart. I'm always concerned about people getting hurt during All-Star Weekend, during the dunk contest. That's not smart. He's trying to dunk in Tim's. And I know a lot of people play ball in Tim's. But I would tell you this. Obviously, I was aged like 41, but I tore my Achilles in Skechers. So, I mean, I'm 41. Obviously, Cole Anthony is a lot younger than that. But I'm saying, like, this dude is dunking in Tim's. Cole Anthony got Tim's on. He's putting Tim's on. That's not, man. This guy's putting on Tim's. Remember, Gerald Green took the shoes off. Cole Anthony's got Tim's. Wow. He's putting on Timberland boots. That's New York all day, son. That's New York all day, B. This dude is putting on Tim's. Wow. Cole Anthony is putting on Tim's, man. That's wild. Darn near dangerous. Oh my gosh, this dude's got Tim's on. He's got his Tim's. That's New York. Pop Greg Anthony played in New York for many years. I mean, I don't think he's going to get hurt. I think he's going to be able to pull it off, but I don't like it. If I'm the Magic, I don't like it. This dude is this dude's going to do a dunk in Tim's. Wow. That's a 10. I don't care what he does dunk-wise. He's dunking in Tim's. Wow. So Cole Anthony getting ready to get his dunk on. First dunk for Cole Anthony. His pop, Greg Anthony's holding the ball, longtime point guard. Played many years for the Knicks. Now is an analyst for NBA TV. And here's Cole Anthony now, charting it out. Here he goes. Here he goes with Tim's. Oh, didn't get it done. Look, he was trying to do a windmill there. Looked like he was trying to do a windmill. Trying to get his pop situated. Trying to get his pop right. Trying to get him in the right position, the right spot, so he can pull this dunk off. We'll see if he can do it. Now he looks like he was trying to do a windmill there. So his pop is holding the ball under the net. Cole Anthony telling the fans to get up and get into it. The fans in Cleveland. Cole, here we go. Grabs it. Couldn't do it. Just could not get it up. Can't get up. Can't get it up. Cannot get it up. Second time he grabbed. I don't know if he needs his pop to throw it. I don't know if he needs his pop to situate it right. But at this point, Cole Anthony 2 times in a row wasn't able to get the dunk off. Here we go. Anthony. Windmill. Got it. Not a great dunk, but he got Tim's. He's got Tim's on. New York all day. New York City swagger with the Tim's. Cole Anthony. Wasn't a great dunk. Wasn't a great dunk. Kind of a little windmill. Father held the ball out. Got the ball. Little windmill. Tim's. They had Tim's on. So that kind of makes it, interesting to me. But, yeah, we'll see what the judges have to say. Dominique Wilkins, one of the judges, the human highlight film. And obviously this dude was ridiculous in the amount of dunks that he could do, the things that he could do on that basketball court with his level of athleticism. Ridiculous, off the charts. I mean, I think they should definitely give him, some extra points because of Tim's. So we got Clyde Drexler, Isaiah Thomas, right? D-Rob, David Robinson. D-Rob might be time to get a baldy. The doctor, Julius Erving there, is also one of the judges. One of the greatest dunkers of all time. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what the scores, see what they total up here. But again, Cole Anthony, man, he dunked in Tim's. Tim's. So, he did it in Tim's, man. Give him credit. Give him credit. He did it in Tim's. Did it in Tim's. But Cole Anthony got 40 points for that dunk. 40 points. That might not be enough to get it done. it wasn't that impressive of a dunk. I will say that. I mean, I wasn't like, whoa, he did that. No, it wasn't. It wasn't like that. Only thing again is that he had Tim's on. That was the only thing that I was like, okay, that's impressive. He did it in Tim's. So now we got Juan Toscano-Anderson. I think that's Wiggins underneath. Oh, that wasn't bad. Seen it many times, but that wasn't bad. Andrew Wiggins, first time All-Star. But yeah, that was okay. It was okay. I wasn't blown away by that dunk. I was not blown away by that one. It was just okay. Not blown away. This could be a situation where we could have a garbage dunk contest, man. I'm starting to think that this might not be a good one. I'm starting to think we might not have a good dunk contest tonight. I mean, that one, obviously Karl-Anthony's dunk, just okay, just okay. And Juan Toscano-Anderson, that wasn't that great. That wasn't that great. It just wasn't that great. So man, I mean, we could be in for a garbage night in terms of the dunk contest. This might not be a good night for the dunk contest. 44 points for Juan Toscano-Anderson on that particular dunk. Again, it wasn't that great. Obi Toppin, the guy I chose, the guy I picked, he's next. We'll see what he's got up the sleeve. We'll see if it's going to be something that's great. See what Obi got. So he got somebody sitting underneath the rim there. I don't know who that was. But Toppin now, obviously he's a high flyer. Obviously he has super hops. Here we go. He almost ran into the crowd, fell into the crowd. But this dude was trying to jump over one of the guys there. He's putting the ball behind the back, and he's jumping over a guy. That, if he pulls that off, that's a 10. That's a 50, excuse me. If he pulls it off, that's a 50. Putting the ball behind the back and dunking with a guy standing there. That's a 50 if he pulls it off. I don't think he can do it. Missed the second one. It doesn't seem like he has enough length. He can't, I don't know. If he pulls this off, though, it's a 50. That's a 50 if he pulls this thing off. Here we go. Toppin. Oh, he did it. He did it. Behind the back, over. A man standing under. That's a 50. Give him a 50. You're going behind the back and dunking over someone standing underneath the basket. That's a 50, man. That's a 50. That's got to be a 50. We'll see if they do the right thing and give this man a 50. So you got Karl-Anderson a 40, Juan Toscano-Anderson a 44, and now we're awaiting the scores for Obi Toppin. Waiting for Obi's score. Obi Toppin's a high flyer, man. This dude's a super athletic, super duper athletic. This dude, Obi Toppin. Big time athlete. Super hops. Ridiculous. And, he went behind the back and got it done with a big time dunk. Big time. OBT. See if my favorite going in because he's a high flyer. Dude gets it done. Dude's a special dunker. Big time hops. Big time hops. Actually, a 44 for Obi Toppin. Wow. Thought that's a little low. Thought that was a little low. Behind the back, dunking over somebody. Thought that was a little low. But, you got the doctor. You got Clyde Drexler there. You got some dudes who got some high standards, I guess. You got Clyde the Glide, the doctor. So Jalen Green is up. Off the backboard. Oh. So they're trying to throw it off the side of the backboard. I believe it's KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr., throwing off the side of the backboard. And it looks like Jalen Green is trying to get himself a windmill off of that particular dunk. So Green behind them, on the side there in the baseline. See if he can pull this off. Kevin Porter Jr. Appears to be Kevin Porter Jr. Might be Kevin Porter Jr., I believe. Oh, he was trying. Oh, missed a second. He was trying to put the ball between his legs. Windmill for a dunk. Now he'll have a third chance to do it. Here we go. Now they confer, trying to get the crowd into it, trying to figure out their plan, what they want to do. That might even be Christian Wood. I'm not sure. Can't see from the view I have. So off the side of the backboard, Green. Fourth time now. This dunk contact this one has been pretty weak. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, missed it again, and he's done. This one actually looks like he's gonna get another shot at it. But this dunk contest has been pretty weak. I mean, it's been pretty weak. These are the type of dunk contests that make you want to say no more dunk contests. I mean, it's weak. And again, it comes down to star power. You need stars, and you don't have stars who want to get into these dunk contests anymore. I mean, the signature event at this point is a 3-point shooting contest. In reality, that's the signature event. Try to do it again. It's just this one ain't working. Come on, Jalen. Come on. Figure it out, dude. Give me something. Keeps jumping. Now he's saying there's a slick spot. Or maybe it's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe trying to find out what the reason is why he can't get this dunk off. I don't know. One more time, Jalen Green. Try to put it through his legs. Couldn't make it happen. And this was when it gets crazy. This is like a seventh time at this point. It's a seventh attempt at it. I mean, at this point, it's like, dude, give up. Nah, don't give up. Keep trying. All right, so I believe it was the seventh time here trying to pull this off. Green, again, couldn't do it. Trying to put it between the legs and windmill it. And that's, I mean, how many times are you going to do this? Turn into Nate Robinson back in when he went up against Andre Iguodala. He kept going on and on and on and on and on and on. At some point, you take the energy out of the building, suck the life out of the building when you keep doing this on and on and on. Right? All right, now he's going to switch it up, switch dunk up. Well, maybe not. I thought he was going to switch the dunk up. Now he's trying to do, what's he going to do? Still trying to do the same dunk. They're trying to throw it off the corner of the backboard. Oh, they just threw it in the air. Reverse. I mean, it looked like a windmill there. Nothing special. Yeah, it's been weak sauce at this point. A lot of weak in terms of this dunk contest. I said before, the difference between this dunk contest or the dunk contests that go on now and the ones that were in the past is the amount of star power. And so, but these dudes, even with limited star power, are just not doing good dunks. They're not doing good dunks. We need Zach LaVine back. I know he's banged up. He was banged up throughout the course of this season. Aaron Gordon and those boys. But this ain't good. This ain't good. Yeah, this ain't good. This ain't good. This is not good. And so, it is what it is, All-Star Saturday night, but this is terrible, man. What we're seeing tonight, this is terrible. Tim McMahon. These dudes are shooting 30% from the floor in a dunk contest. Come on, guys. You're better than this. You're better than this. 30. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Green had like 6, 7, 8 chances at this dunk and he couldn't pull it off. Right? Obi Toppin took like 50 times to pull his dunk off. I mean, these guys ain't getting it done. This ain't fun, man. This is not fun. This is not fun at all. Right? The dunk contest is the signature event, even though I think the three-point contest has, replaced the dunk contest in terms of being a signature event. But it's supposed to be a signature event. 38 points for Jalen Green. Not good. Not good. So Green with 38. Not good. Obi Toppin, 44. Karl-Anthony, 40. Not good. Not good. Just not good. These dunks have not been good. This has been a very forgettable dunk contest. Juan Toscano-Anderson also with 44, but this has been a very forgettable dunk contest. Like, this is not exciting to watch. This is not riveting television. This is not, and couple that with limited star power, it's like, come on. Limited star power, and the people that are dunking are put, it's just garbage. It's just garbage product out here. It's a garbage product, and it's not exciting right now. We need some exciting players. We need stars. I mean, we're gonna get we need some stars. Just like I said, man. Like these guys, I expected more. I expected better, and we're getting what we're seeing is a disappointment. This is a disappointment that we're seeing tonight. This is not fun. This is not what you want. This is not how you want to spend your Saturday night. You want to spend your Saturday night, excited to a degree. You want to spend your Saturday night enjoying some nice dunks. What you're getting is a garbage product right now. What you're getting is some garbage dunks. What you're getting is not a good dunk contest. And again, this is supposed to be the signature event of All-Star Saturday night. And this quote-unquote signature event, this ain't it. This ain't it, fellas. You got to do better. And maybe in the next round, things will get better. I doubt it. I doubt it. Karl-Anthony, he did it in Tim's, but it wasn't really that great of a dunk. I liked Obi Toppin's dunk. I thought he should have got more points for that. I thought that was a decent dunk. But Jalen Green, run-the-mill dunk. I just think Obi Toppin, Juan Toscano-Anderson, nothing special. Obi Toppin's dunk was good. That was sick. I like that one. Give him credit. I like what Obi Toppin did there. I like that dunk. I like what he did. That was nice. But the rest, hot garbage. Hot garbage at this point. All-Star Saturday night in Cleveland. So I guess at this point, the guys are thinking about what's next. Thinking about what they're going to do here Saturday night in Cleveland. Again, I don't know what, I don't know what's to do in Cleveland. What do people do in Cleveland? I mean, it's a Midwest city. I'm sure there's always, there's a hot spot in every city. So I'm sure there's a hot spot in Cleveland. So I'm trying to figure out what people do. Obviously, All-Star weekend. Obviously, there's going to be a lot to do. Obviously, the clubs are going to be packed. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of different females from all over the country in one city. So there's going to be a lot to do for people in Cleveland. Jalen Green trying to do the 360. He did it, but he didn't get in the air, so he's going to try it again. Trying to do it. He stopped short pretty much. Jalen Green again, 360. Look, he's trying to go through his legs, 360, but Get the energy up, Jalen. Get that energy up. I know you're missing dunks left and right, but get that energy up. Yeah. Between the legs. I don't think that was a 360, but it was nothing special. Yeah. This dunk contest has been weak sauce. No, it hasn't been good. And, it continues to suffer. I expected more from these guys. I expected more. And we're clearly not getting more. We're not getting what we want. We're not getting what we need. So Karl-Anthony's up next. Took the Timbs off, put on some sneakers. So he did the first dunk in it with Timbs. Held the ball underneath the net there. Did a little windmill. But yeah, wasn't that great. He had Timbs. So with the Timbs, I'll give him that. That made it exciting with the Timbs. That made it decent. 45 points for Jalen Green for that second dunk. 45 points. So that's much better than his first dunk where he had 38. So we got Karl-Anthony now. Karl-Anthony kissing the ball at this point. Karl-Anthony kissing the ball again. Trying to get the crowd into it. Karl-Anthony now figuring out what he's going to do. Look like he's going to throw the ball up in the air and do some sort of dunk. So let's see what Cole has to do. Cole throws the ball in the air. Cole, trying to do a little 360 off of throwing the ball in the air. We'll see what he can do in the second time. That's also just takes the energy out when these dudes miss dunks, right? It takes the energy away. The crowd is waiting and anticipating and trying to get some big time dunks. And when these guys are missing, it just takes the energy. So here we go. Karl-Anthony again, trying to pull it off, throws it in the air. Cole misses the dunk. Believe he gets another shot at it. All-Star Saturday night in Cleveland. Karl-Anthony now. Orlando Magic. Having a decent year, Karl-Anthony. Playing well for Orlando. You wonder what Orlando's going to do when Markelle Fultz comes back. I mean, they signed him to a decent contract. You got him. You got Jalen Suggs there as well. So it should be interesting to see what the Magic do. Markelle Fultz coming off an torn ACL that he suffered last season. So you wonder what Orlando's going to do. But Karl-Anthony's having a good season for the Magic. Playing some good basketball. So kudos to him getting it done this season. So it still hasn't dunked the ball. Still hasn't flushed it through yet on this second dunk. I think it's time to just call this thing. I mean, come on. Karl-Anthony now throwing the ball in the air. Cole could not get it done. Missed it again. And that's it. Karl-Anthony missed all those dunks. Does he get another shot at it? No, I don't. Does he get another shot? Yeah, this has been bad, man. This has been truly a bad dunk contest. This has not been good. This is one of those dunk contests you just want to end. Like, enough already. Enough already. Let's end this already. This has been weak. This has been bad. This is not what people signed up for, right? This is not what they signed up for. Fans, the league, can't be happy with what they're seeing tonight. I mean, this has been garbage to this point. This has not been fun. I expected more from these guys. I really did. I expected more from these guys tonight. And they're not getting it done. And how many times does Karl-Anthony have to do this dunk? How many times? How many times are you going to do it, Cole? So now we got Juan Toscano-Anderson. Please end this dunk contest at this point. Nah, I mean, this All-Star Saturday night, baby. Juan, that wasn't bad. Little 360 windmill there. That wasn't bad. That was good. That was good. That was a good dunk by Juan Toscano-Anderson. Maybe he was the one that pulls it off. That was a good dunk from Juan. 30 points for Karl-Anthony in that second dunk, by the way. But Juan Toscano-Anderson, that was a nice dunk by him. That was solid. That was a good dunk. That was a good dunk by Juan. Again, my guy's Obi Toppin. I predicted Obi Toppin will win this. He's up next, so we'll see what Obi can pull off. But Juan Toscano-Anderson still waiting for his points. See what he got. I mean, that was a good dunk. That was maybe one of the better dunks tonight. I did like that Obi Toppin. Dunk. Toscano-Anderson, Bay Area guy, playing for his hometown Warriors. Having a decent year for Golden State, making a decent career for himself. See what Obi Toppin got. We'll see what Obi got. See what you got, Obi. Stretching a little bit, getting himself nice and limber. Oh. Off the backboard, through the leg, reverse. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Toscano-Anderson with a 43 for that second dunk that he just had there. See what Obi Toppin got. No one's gotten over a 45. No one has gotten over 40. He didn't do that dunk clean. That wasn't clean. It wasn't clean. But no one has gotten over 45 tonight. So, that's that. But no one at this point has gotten over 45. The dunks have not been memorable. To be clear, it has not been fun at this point tonight. It's not Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon. It's not Dominique, Michael Jordan. It's none of that. It's not Vince Carter and his big time performance. It's none of that. It's been a lot of garbage. It's been a lot of garbage dunks tonight, from the beginning to the end. These guys did not bring it here Saturday night there in Cleveland. They did not bring it. It's that simple. Those boys did not bring it. 46 for Obi Toppin, best dunk of the night in terms of points. So, it was a good dunk. It was a good dunk by Obi. Wasn't special, but it was good. 46 for Obi. I don't see anybody getting a 50 tonight. I don't expect to see any 50s tonight. I'd be shocked if I get a 50 tonight. And I think a lot of people would be shocked if we see any 50s tonight. It's just these guys just not bringing it. Just not bringing it. Again, love to see Aaron Gordon back. Love to see Zach LaVine back. Love to see those boys back. That would be fun. We obviously we've been pining for LeBron James to get out there. That ain't happening at this point. We want the players, the fans want all the, they want the stars out there. But unfortunately, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. So it is what it is. We have to deal with the Obi Toppins and the Jalen Greens and the Karl-Anthonys and the Juan Toscano-Andersons of the world. That's what we got to deal with. It is what it is. Got to deal with it. Got to deal with it. It's not fun. It's not exciting. But we have no choice because we're not getting stars out there. And again, that would save All-Star. That would save the dunk contest. That would save it. That would save it. But at this point, this one hasn't been good. This one has not been good. This one has not been memorable. We're waiting and waiting for someone to do something to excite us, do something to make us feel good. And unfortunately, It ain't happened. It hasn't happened to this point. It's probably not happened the rest of the way. It's just not a good night in terms of the dunk contest out there in Cleveland. Just not. But it is what it is. It is what it is, man. I mean, you don't get the star power and you don't get good dunks. That's not a good night. That is not a good night. So it is what it is. We do, you do what you can and keep on pushing. And let's look at reality. It's the All-Star game. And again, All-Star games in general are not super exciting. It is what it is. They're not. But again, and the NFL, they had a little skills competition thing. Hockey has a little something as well. Obviously, the home run hit contest for Major League Baseball. But are they must see events? None of those are must see events. Maybe the dunk contest out of all four of those is a must see event. But none of them are, even the dunk contest is not really a must see event at this point. That's just the reality of it. It's not must see TV. You're not getting excited waiting for the dunk contest. You're not staying up all night. Now, back in the day, again, when the star power was high, you did that. You did that. You were looking forward to All-Star Saturday night. But now, when you have guys who don't have big names and aren't big-time dunkers, well, it's not very exciting. It's just that simple. It's just not very exciting. It's been a dud. It's been a dud tonight in terms of the three-point shooting contest. I did like that skills competition. I didn't mind that. I didn't think that was that bad. I think that was okay. And, of course, the three-point shooting contest, Cat Daddy, Karl-Anthony Towns, big-time shooting, put up some big-time numbers. So I was okay with that. But this dunk contest to this point has not been very memorable. And a lot of people are just, these players, they probably can't wait for this to get over so they can hit the streets, right? So they can have a good old time in Cleveland. But 2022 All-Star Saturday night. Now Juan Toscano-Anderson, he is up. I believe he had a 43, I believe was his last dunk. So we'll see what he can do here tonight in this dunk right here. Again, his second dunk wasn't bad. His first dunk was okay. He actually had a 43 for his second dunk. So here's Juan. Here's Juan. That was nothing special. That was a reverse. I think he was trying to do the Vince Carter, put his elbow in. I don't think he got it in. He was trying to do the Vince Carter and get that elbow in. You ain't Vince, obviously, Juan. You were not Vince Carter, and you did not get that done. So he's trying to do a reverse, and he was trying to get his arm in, like you remember Vince Carter did. He had his arm like this on the rim. And that was what Juan was trying to do. He just didn't get it off. He just didn't do it right. Couldn't get his whole elbow in. Could not get his whole elbow in. So that's that for Juan Toscano-Anderson. The suspect dunks tonight. So now it's going to be Obi Toppin. We'll see what Obi Toppin can pull off, see if he can get the dub in terms of this All-Star contest, the Slam Dunk Contest, All-Star Weekend, Cleveland, Ohio. So 38 for Juan Toscano-Anderson. 38. And, so Obi Toppin, we'll see what he pulls off, but he's probably going to win this. He was my prediction going into it. I did predict Obi Toppin. I did say Karl-Anthony had a chance because of his size. But Obi Toppin, I think, is going to put it away. He's going to do something. He's probably not going to do anything super special, but he's going to do enough to win this dunk contest. Toppin, between the legs, missed it. Short on the dunk. He'll do it again. Not much imagination, man. I mean, to me, the thing I liked the most was Karl-Anthony would have put the Timbs on. Dunked in Timbs. But outside of that, the imagination has not been that great. Here we go. Obi Top missed it again. He better just do something simple to try to secure this win. He better do something simple. Let's see what Obi's doing. Looks like he's switching up to dunk. Or maybe he's going from the other side. He's going from the other side. It's off the backboard, between the legs, dunk. I believe that was between the legs. Maybe it was a windmill. But anyway, I think that'll be enough to get it done. I think that'll be enough for him to get the dub and win this dunk contest. It wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. Just wasn't, man. Wasn't good. Look at this tweet. Interesting tweet here. Something I talked about earlier. So we got Gerald Brigay. He's saying, I've seen enough. Third year in a row. Make the three-point contest a marquee event of NBA All-Star Saturday. Might have a point. He might have a point. I mean, this one was garbage tonight. I mean, and maybe it's time to flip. Because let's look at it. There was a period of time when the dunk was bigger than the three-point shot. But at this point, you can flip-flop that. You can reverse that. The three-point shot has surpassed the dunk in terms of excitement. People are more excited for the three-point shot than the dunk contest. I mean, you can look at, there was a period of time where everybody wanted to have nice handle, wanted to have crossovers and things of that nature. We had and1 going. You had Iverson at the time. And then, Steph Curry comes along, and this kid just starts shooting threes at an elite level. And then you go watch AAU basketball. You watch little kids playing. Everybody wants to shoot the three. So the three has surpassed the dunk contest in terms of relevancy. And plus, you get more star power in the three-point shooting contest. You get more star power. And I believe because of that, it might be time for us to say, let's make the three-point shooting contest the marquee event of All-Star Saturday night. I think Gerald Brigay has a point of 45 for Obi Toppin. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Now, Juan Toscano-Anderson, he has another dunk here. We'll see what he does. Looks like he's coming from the corner there. Probably going to throw it off the side of the backboard and do something from there. See what Juan's got. And he couldn't pull it off. Hit it. Look, he's trying to pull off the Jason Richardson. He's got a Jason Richardson jersey on. You remember Jason Richardson for the Golden State Warriors? Won a dunk contest many moons ago. So let's see what we got here. JTA, Juan Toscano-Anderson. Here we go. Between the legs. With a one-hand reverse. Trying to go between the legs with a one-hand reverse dunk. Looks like with his left hand. Let's see what happens now. He's trying to do it again for a third time. Missed it again. He missed it again. Gonna try it again. Got the Jason Richardson jersey on. Jason Richardson had hops, man. He was a high flyer. Here we go. Missed it again. Just stop, dude. That was 5 times. He missed it again. My goodness. This is getting worse and worse. This is getting worse and worse and worse and worse as the night goes on. This is not compelling television. This is not what Adam Silver in the league wanted to see on All-Star Saturday night. Again, you gotta, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to flip-flop this thing and just make the three-point shooting contest a marquee event. Maybe it's time. I mean, I don't know. Because this has been awful. This has been awful. If you can't get stars to do it, now he goes to Obi Toppin between the legs. That was just a safe dunk. I think he just wanted to win it, do something safe at that point. Daps up Fat Joe on the side. Spike Lee gives him a dap, hugs him. Toscano-Anderson hugs him. Obi Toppin is your 2022 slam dunk winner. You excited? It was not very exciting, folks. In fact, it was a boring dunk contest. It was bad. There was no imagination. There was nothing different. We've seen everything that we needed to see. We've seen these dunks before. We haven't seen nobody dunking Tim's. Karl-Anthony did that his first dunk. But outside of that, Obi Toppin's first dunk wasn't bad, but behind the back over somebody dunking. There was somebody sitting underneath the basket there. That wasn't that bad. But outside of that, it was not a fun night here. All-Star Saturday night in Cleveland. It was not a very fun night. It was a dud in a lot of ways. The dunk contest was a dud. Again, the marquee event. And let's talk about this. Let me get this tweet up first, and we'll talk about it. And I think it's a legitimate conversation that we need to have at this point when it comes to All-Star Saturday night and making it better. Gerald Begay, I believe, fan-sided, covers the Phoenix Suns, I believe. He does cover the Phoenix Suns, as we see here. I've seen enough. For the third year in a row, make the three-point contest the marquee event of NBA All-Star Saturday. I think he has a point. And I'll tell you this. Think about it from this standpoint. Let's think about who was in the dunk contest and who was in the three-point shooting contest. And let's look at it that way. Who was in the dunk contest and who was in the three-point shooting contest? And if we look at it from that standpoint, we can maybe see why that should be the case. So we had Fred VanVleet, decent player. Desmond Bane, up-and-coming player. Van Vliet's a solid player. Luke Kennard, okay. Zach LaVine is a star in this league. C.J. McCollum is another bigger name. Patty Mills won championship, not a huge name, but Karl-Anthony Towns is a big name, and Trae Young is a big name. So the star power is a little different there. The star power is different when you have a Trae Young. We have a Karl-Anthony Towns, a C.J. McCollum. The star power is different. And so you have name recognition. You look at the dunk contest, you had Jalen Green. You had Obi Toppin, right? You had Juan Toscano-Anderson. You had Karl-Anthony. I mean, these guys are, they're not big name players in the National Basketball Association. They're not big name players in this league. So those guys, seeing those guys is not exciting to the general public, and especially when those guys don't bring it dunk-wise, right? But when you have a Cat, when you have a Trae Young, when you have a McCollum, when you have decent names out there with the three-point shooting contest, well, Zach LaVine as well, it makes sense that maybe that should be the marquee event of All-Star Saturday night. Maybe it's time to flip-flop the dunk contest and the three-point shooting contest. Make the three-point shooting contest the main event and make the dunk contest the co-main, if you will. But it's time for the NBA to give that some thought, because what we saw tonight was not very good. What we saw tonight was not memorable. What we saw tonight was garbage. We saw garbage tonight in the dunk contest. It wasn't fun. There was no big-time names. The name recognition was small. We didn't know these guys. We didn't know a lot of these guys. And the dunks that they pulled off wasn't very compelling. It wasn't a good night. It wasn't. And again, part of it is names. We need names. We need named players to get involved in the dunk contest. I think Gerald Begay has a point here, a good point here. I think he's right. I think it's time to flip-flop it. I think it's time to make the three-point shooting contest the marquee event on All-Star Saturday night. I think it's time. Adam Silver needs to think about that, give that some thought, because what we saw tonight was unwatchable. We didn't see good dunks, and then we didn't see people with big-time name recognition. We didn't see the stars. We didn't see the elite. So it's time. It's time for us. It's time for the league to flip-flop the slam dunk contest and three-point shooting contest. Time to flip-flop and make the three-point shooting contest the marquee event of All-Star Saturday night. It's time for the league to do it. What are you waiting for? You got a Trae Young, you got a Karl-Anthony Towns, you got a Zach LaVine in the three-point shooting contest. So you got guys with name recognition. People know those names. Those are household names in the NBA. Jalen Green, he was a high draft pick, so we do know him. Karl-Anthony, we know them, but they're not big names. They're not big names. That's not what people come to see. People come to see names. And the NBA is one of those leagues. It's the league that, it's all about names. It's all about promoting the superstars. It's a superstar and a star-driven league. And we didn't get stars during the dunk contest. And even if we didn't have any stars, I will at least see some big-time dunks. We didn't get any of that. So it was a disappointment. It was a disappointment. So I think, it's time for the NBA to figure it out. It's time for the NBA to flip-flop the events. It's time for the NBA to make the three-point shooting contest the marquee event on All-Star Saturday night. That's what it's time to be. It's time. It's time for the league to figure it out and make that change. I think you give it a trial run at least. At least give it a shot. At least say, you know what? Let's try it for 1 year. Let's try it where you flip-flop the event to make the three-point shooting contest the marquee event. Let's try it. Because I think it's a legitimate conversation. It's definitely a legitimate conversation. And, the behind the back was nice. The behind the back by Obi was nice. I said that. That was nice. That was nice. But, the dunk contest, let's be real. I agree, man. We got to do something about it. But the dunk contest, let's be real, it was whack. It was whack this year. It was whack this year. It wasn't good. It wasn't watchable. So they got to do something. But I think the remedy, again, is flip-flopping the three-point contest with the dunk contest, making the three-point contest last and the dunk contest second. There was a period of time where three-point contest wasn't on the same level as the dunk contest. That has now changed, but part of the reason it's changed is because the game has changed. And, how people view the three-point shot has changed, right? People love the three-point shot at this point. They're in love with the three-point shot. And, again, you go to neighborhood courts throughout the country. You go through AAU games, high school games throughout the country. You're seeing a lot of people wanting to be Steph Curry. At one point, people wanted to be like Mike. Wanted to dunk everything and try to dunk everything. Obviously, we all can't dunk. Everybody wanted to be like Iverson, try to cross over everybody. And these N1 boys, everybody wanted to be that. And then it shifted. It shifted to Steph Curry, and everybody wanted to be Steph Curry. Now we're seeing everybody and their mama shooting threes, right? From trying to be Logo Lillard, trying to be Steph Curry, right? We're seeing a lot of that. And so the game has changed. And so what's popular has changed, we might have to ride the wave. And right now, the three-point shot is on the top there. So we might have to figure that out. And the NBA might have to say, you know what? Let's ride the wave and let's make the three-point shot, the three-point contest, the marquee event Saturday night, All-Star Saturday night. Because, again, it's what the game is. The game is all about three-point shooting. There's a lot of three-point shooting in the NBA, right? Everybody wants to be Steph Curry. Back in the day, Reggie Miller was coming off screens and everything, shooting threes. That wasn't that glamorous back then. But now it's become more glamorous. And, Reggie Miller made a lot of threes. Could you imagine how many threes he would make in this era of basketball when coaches want you to shoot the three-point shot a lot? So, again, it's all about the three-point shot. That's what's popular at the playground. That's what's popular on the high school level, college levels, popular everywhere. It's time for the NBA to kind of get with the movement, if you will, switch it up, and make the three-point contest a marquee event All-Star Saturday night. It's that simple. But, we got an All-Star game tomorrow. again, in terms of All-Star games, the NBA does it the best, but it's an All-Star game. So it should be fun. Lots of dunks, lots of fast breaks, a lot of good stuff. So, Obi Toppin did win the dunk contest, if you care. Karl-Anthony Towns did win the three-point contest. I think you care about that a little bit, right? It's Karl-Anthony Towns, name recognition. Trae Young, it was Trae Young, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Cat got it done. The Cavaliers with Mobley, Allen, and Garland, they won, I believe, the skills contest there. So, I don't mind the skills contest. I think that's fun. Three-point shooting contest, I think that's fun. And the dunk contest is it's fun enough for me. It has been great, but this year it was bad. There's no other adjective to use. There are other adjectives you can use for bad, but it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. You think more big men need to be in the three-point contest? Yeah, Cat, big, got it done. Yeah, why not? Let's put some more bigs in. Let's put some more bigs in the three-point shooting contest. Maybe Jokic from Denver. Maybe Embiid, who shoots the three early and often. Maybe we get him in the three-point shooting contest one year. Yeah, let's get some bigs. Let's get some bigs in there shooting threes. It's like this, right? It's kind of fun because, in terms of dunk contests, K-Love as well. Yeah, Kevin Love's definitely a guy who could be in a three-point shooting contest. But yeah, the bigs are fun. Here's the thing, in terms of the dunk contest, a lot of small guys, when they do certain dunks, it looks extra special because of their height. And so, the little guy we saw Nate Robinson get it done. We saw Spud Webb get it done. Like the little guy getting it done with the dunk contest. And now, maybe the bigs can take over the three-point shooting contest. Cat got it done tonight, right? Maybe, at some point, Kevin Love's getting a little older. So, still name recognition there. But again, maybe we can get Embiid in there next year. Maybe Embiid can be in the three-point shooting contest, and Jokic as well. Maybe we can get him in there. But yeah, maybe more bigs would make it more exciting. But the three-point shooting contest is healthy. It's fine. It's in a good place. The three-point shooting contest is in a good place because again, you get stars that do it. Trae Young, Karl-Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine. You get the stars in the three-point shooting contest. It's healthy, and obviously the three-point shot is in vogue. So the three-point shooting contest is healthy. It's good. It's in good shape. There's nothing that needs to be done in terms of changing the three-point shooting contest. The dunk contest got some problems. And tonight we saw those problems, unfortunately, on full display. And it wasn't an exciting dunk contest. The dunks weren't good. The name recognition was limited. And it just wasn't good. But, hey, is it the end of the world for the NBA? No. This is not the end of the world. Obviously, the regular season is about to start back up, of course, on Thursday. So, and the beauty of the NBA is, and what they haven't had in years is parity. There's parity in the NBA. There's a lot of parity. Look at the East. The matchups in the East, there could be some good basketball teams that go out in the first round in the Eastern Conference. Some good basketball teams that could go out in the first round in the East. It's really, and that's what the NBA wants. If you're Adam Silver, you want the NBA to be in a position where it's like, okay, you don't know who's going to win come playoff time. For a period there, we knew it's either going to be Golden State, Cleveland in the NBA Finals. We knew start of the year who's going to be in the NBA Finals. Look at the standings, right? Look at the standings at this point. At this point, Cleveland, the Cavaliers, for example, would play the Milwaukee Bucks, right? I think you'd have to favor the Bucks going into that particular series. You got to favor the Bucks going into that series. And look how good of a season Cleveland's having. Cleveland's having an amazing season. 35 wins. No one expected Cleveland to have 35 wins after 58 games. 35 wins for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So they could be in a position where they play the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round, and that's probably a first-round exit for the Cavaliers. Or the Cavaliers could be in position, Philly at this point in the third spot, but they easily can move down because we all know you go on a 2-game winning streak, you can move up. 2-3-game winning streak in the East, you can move up. 2 to 3 game losing streak in the East, you can move down. So Philly's at the third spot, but Philly could easily go to 4. And, 4 and 5 could mean, Cavaliers play Philly. And do you favor the Cavaliers in that particular series? Probably not. So also, if you look at it, the Brooklyn Nets currently the 8th seed. They will probably, if they don't get to the 6th seed, they are 2.5 games behind the Celtics for the 6th spot, and they would avoid the play-in situation. But if Brooklyn stays in that particular spot, Brooklyn could be the 8th seed, and Brooklyn could be playing the Miami Heat in the first round, currently the number 1 seed, but that could change. Got Miami and Chicago in the dead heat there, but all that could change. But who wants to play Brooklyn in the first round? And right now, with the vaccine mandate situation, Kyrie can play more road games than home games, and Brooklyn's going to have more home games than road games because they're probably going to be the 8th or 7th seed. So if you're Miami and Chicago or any of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, you don't want to see Brooklyn. Ben Simmons and Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's going to be back at some point. I mean, Ben Simmons obviously has to acclimate himself, but, that dude's in a perfect spot because Brooklyn don't need him to score. They just need him to do what he does best, be an elite passer, right? Be a big-time defender. Be a decent driver. And so it's going to be interesting. Nets going to flop this year if Kyrie can't play. Heat, Bucks, and 76ers, too good. They're going to need Kyrie Irving, especially after trading James Harden because you gave away some of your points. But again, you get an elite defender in Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons easily could have been Defensive Player of the Year award winner last season. I mean, Ben Simmons is an elite defender. Ben Simmons does winning things on the basketball court. He's a winning player. He just was in a situation where Philadelphia needed him to score, and that's not his game. You can't rely on Ben Simmons' points. And so Brooklyn, they don't have to rely on Ben Simmons' points. So they're in a good spot, in a good position. So, yeah, Drummond and Steph Curry, I think those are good acquisitions. I mean, Drummond is probably the best backup center in basketball, right? Drummond had games, I believe, with 20-plus rebounds this season, and he's gotten some spot starts for Embiid. I know when Embiid was out with COVID, he got some starts. When Embiid, has some loads management, he has some starts as well. So Drummond is a decent back. Drummond is a starter for some teams in this league, many teams in this league, I believe. So and Steph Curry obviously is a guy who could stroke it and is a decent scorer. So Brooklyn you don't want to see Brooklyn. So it's going to be interesting. And I say when it comes to the Cavaliers, right, it's going to depend on the matchup. When it comes to, I think all these teams, it's going to depend on the matchup. These first, these 6 teams there. So Toronto's 7th seed at this point. Toronto's playing some decent basketball, right? Toronto's playing some decent basketball right now. So you could be in a situation, if you're Miami or Chicago or any of those teams that move up to the top spot, where you're playing a good Toronto team that's playing well, got off to a slow start, but now picked it up. And obviously you're playing Brooklyn with Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. So it's going to be fun in the East. It's going to be a lot of fun in the East. And so we look at the West. If we go down to the West now, Phoenix is the class of the Western Conference at this point. I mean, they're playing better than they did a year ago. They got to the NBA Finals last season, and they're looking to get back to it. Chris Paul, we got to figure out the situation with his hand. We don't know what, we got to figure what that looks like and how long that's going to keep him out and how that's going to impact him. But Phoenix is the class of the Western Conference. But to me, I look at the West, Memphis is a very good basketball team. I think Utah is a very good basketball team. But I'm looking at 4 teams: Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis, and Utah. To me, those 4 teams are the teams who have, as far as I'm concerned, the ability to get to the NBA Finals. I don't think Dallas has enough. We'll see what Denver gets, Denver has going forward. I I just don't. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't think you know the Lakers. Ninth seed. Yeah, Anthony Davis. I don't trust. I don't trust his ability to stay healthy. I don't trust it. Even if they get out of the playing situation, I don't. I mean, I'll say this. Obviously, anytime you have LeBron James, anytime you have Anthony Davis, and even Russell Westbrook for that matter. So may I don't know. The Lakers just don't have it. They just don't have it. And you can run into situations where you just don't have a Cavs fan here. No problem. Try to stay consistent here. Try to get them all up there for you. Appreciate the love. But you look at it, and I'm like, okay, the Lakers again. They just haven't had a rhythm. Guys have been in and out of the lineup. Just haven't had a rhythm. And I feel like the same thing goes for Brooklyn. With the situation with Kyrie Irving in and out of the lineup. Obviously, Kevin Durant now out of the lineup. And then now you're trying to acclimate, Ben Simmons and Steph Curry and Andre Drummond to your situation. I think Brooklyn, I don't think it's going to be that simple in terms of flipping a switch, right? Even Philadelphia in terms of James Harden in the mix. That's going to take time for that to come together, that to work. That's not going to be an overnight thing. There's going to be some growing pains along the way. Growing pains happen when you're trying to do that. So you look at it, and it's like, okay, we'll see what happens. We think Philly's going to be better with James Harden. We think Brooklyn's going to be better with Ben Simmons. I think it's going to be one of these trades we look back on and we're going to say both teams benefited. And both teams got what they needed out of this deal. Philly got an elite scorer, an elite player off the dribble. Brooklyn got a defender, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons does everything elite except shoot. That's it. Everything else with Ben Simmons is elite. He's elite. He does a lot of elite things. So we'll see what happens come second half of the season. But it's definitely going to be fun, especially in the Eastern Conference. I just look at, yes, I think Philly fans are going to be surprised and early losing streak. It's possible. That's possible. Brooklyn could be in the same spot where they have an early losing streak. You're right. Both teams could be in that spot. Here's the thing: Brooklyn is in the 8th seed. They are 2.5 games up on the 9th seeded Hornets and 2.5 games up on the 10th seeded Hawks. 3.5 up on the Wizards, who probably have the best opportunity, 11th seeded team, the best opportunity to possibly get into that playing situation. Out of all the teams that are behind them, they have, Knicks. They're struggling, had a 28-point lead against Brooklyn. They blew it. The Knicks just don't have it this year. The funny thing with the Knicks, right? You look at Tom Thibodeau, and this dude always does what he turns things around and he just wears out his welcome. And players get tired of him. And, it looks like Tibbs might be doing that in New York, what he did in Chicago and where he does everywhere else. He just gets on your nerves eventually. And eventually, eventually he gets tired. They get tired of him. And eventually he moves on. It's like a poor man's Larry Brown. Larry Brown does the same thing. But Larry Brown, ultimate turnaround guy, but players get tired of him over time. And he moves on to another situation. So the Knicks, I don't think the Knicks are going to be a team. So I think Brooklyn is going to be fine. Yes, Brooklyn could go on a losing streak, as you said, and it could get worse before it gets better. But again, and they don't have a lot of wiggle room, but they do have wiggle room because of what's behind them. And what's behind them is not very good. So let's go back to the slam dunk contest. All right, slam dunk contest in Cleveland tonight was a dud. Obi Toppin, he won it, but his dunks weren't that great. The behind the back was good, but everything else was meh. You had Karl-Anthony, dunked in Tim's, but outside of that, Then you had, Juan Toscano-Anderson, It was just not a good night for the dunk contest. Jalen Green, So it just wasn't good. It wasn't a good night in terms of the slam dunk contest. It was a bad night. It was just not good to watch. It was not very good to watch. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't riveting. It wasn't compelling. It was just bad. It was a dud. It was boring. So again, and we talked about this earlier, it's time to flip-flop the three-point shooting contest with the dunk contest. It's time to do it. It's time for the NBA to flip it. It's time for the NBA to figure that out and say, this ain't working. The dunk contest is not the marquee event anymore. That's it. Slam dunk contest is just not what it used to be. And I made the point earlier. The three-point shooting is what's in vogue in the NBA. This is what people care about. It's what everybody's doing. So make that the marquee event going forward. But it wasn't fun tonight. It wasn't fun. The fans of Cleveland who came out, and watched All-Star Saturday night, they were happy earlier because Evan Mobley and Darius Garland and Jerry Allen won the skills competition there. But in the second part, three-point shooting contest, they were happy there. Karl-Anthony Towns had a record, I believe, in the first round, and they had Trae Young there shooting threes and Levine and all those guys. That was fun. But then came the dunk contest, and the dunk contest may have soured tonight. It's like this. You go to a boxing match, right? You pay $75 for a pay-per-view, and the undercard is good, but the main event is trash. The main event is terrible. It's not enjoyable. You felt like you wouldn't have gotten your money's worth because you waited and anticipated All-Star Saturday night, the dunk contest, and you wait, and you get a garbage dunk contest. So it's kind of like that in terms of it's kind of like a boxing main event. Again, you pay, if Floyd Mayweather was fighting Manny Pacquiao, you paid $75, I think it was $100 actually, to watch that particular fight. But you may have walked away disappointed because some people believe that Floyd Mayweather and the Manny Pacquiao fight wasn't that good. But it was the fight you waited for, was the main event. But and you don't go there for the undercard. You don't pay the $75, $100 on the pay-per-view for the undercard. You pay for the main event. And the main event tonight, the NBA All-Star Game, the slam dunk contest, came up small. It came up small. It wasn't a good contest. It was garbage. And there's no getting around that, right? There's no other way to say it. There's nothing you can say. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was terrible. And so we gotta get the stars. We gotta get the stars back out there. We gotta get the stars back out there, man. Get the stars back out there dunking the basketball. All-Star Saturday night. Donovan Mitchell was right? 2016 dunk contest. We wanted to see this tonight. This is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. Donovan Mitchell's right, man. Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, y'all messed it up for the rest of us, right? Let's see that again. But they raised the bar. They raised the bar with the dunk contest. Those two guys, they raised the bar. They really did. That may have been one of the greatest dunk contests of all time. They raised the bar, and so yeah, I would love to have seen those two tonight. Yeah. I'd like to see some Zach LaVine dunks. That dude's sick. Aaron Gordon dunks. Another sicko in terms of the dunks. I'd love to have seen that. We didn't get it. We didn't get it tonight. We tried. We wanted it. We begged. We pleaded. Right? And these guys just couldn't do it. It's that simple. They could not pull off what these two guys. I mean, here's the thing. That was maybe the greatest dunk contest ever. So we need those guys back. We need those guys back in the mix, dunking the basketball and doing amazing things. We didn't get that tonight, man. We got garbage. We got whackness. We got just a bad dunk contest in Cleveland, Ohio. The fans in Cleveland, Ohio, who came out for All-Star Saturday night might want to ask for their money back. They're obviously not getting it, but they might want their money back after what they saw tonight. It was just not good. The dunks, there was no imagination. There was just nothing there for us to hang our hat on and say, this is exciting, this is fun, this is special, this is amazing. There was none of that. And so now, we move on and we prepare again for the All-Star game. Team LeBron against Team Durant. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if we get something memorable. Maybe the year, what was that? That 2 years ago, Kobe died. We got a good All-Star game then. That was fun. It came down to the end. That was exciting. Last year's was nothing special. And, obviously this year we'll see what happens. We'll see if these guys can put together something special tonight. Tomorrow night. Don't expect much, right? Team LeBron obviously got LBJ, you got Giannis, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan having an MVP caliber season. Jokic, another MVP caliber season. Obviously you got Garland, Chris Paul, Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler. We got Team LeBron. How about Team Durant not drafting James Harden? That was funny. Chris Paul, I don't think he's playing. Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, Fred VanVleet, James Harden. We got Team Durant, Embiid, Morant, Tatum, Trae Young, Anthony Wiggins, Booker, Cat, All-Star, Zach LaVine, All-Star, VanVleet, All-Star, Trae Young, All-Star. So you get the point. And these were the guys, VanVleet, Trae Young, Karl-Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine. These dudes were in the three-point shooting contest. These are the dudes that are in the three-point shooting contest. So you got name recognition in the three-point shooting contest. You got name recognition. You don't have that in the dunk contest. You have it in the three-point shooting contest. And so that's one of the biggest issues with the dunk contest. It's the lack of names. We all know the NBA is all about names, all about stars. It's a star-driven league. We know that. So you want your stars in the forefront. You want your stars out there. It was fun, to a degree, for the league when they had LeBron and Steph, and Clay, and Draymond, and Kyrie all in the NBA Finals. You had a lot of star power there. That was fun for the league. That was good for the league. So you want your stars. You want your stars out there, doing the dunk contest. You want your stars in the three-point shooting contest, and we got that. So they'll figure it out. Adam Silver, does a good job with this league. The NBA does a good job of being innovative and finding new things to make it popular. The NBA does that. Maybe we can do horse in terms of the dunk contest. I don't know. The energy wasn't right either. The energy was just not high. And again, Ja Morant would have changed things. He would have been a guy that would have been good. Anthony Edwards would have been good. There's some star recognition, there's some name recognition there. But we don't have that here. You don't have that. And when you don't have that, it's not going to translate, especially if the dunks are not good. I mean, Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon at the time weren't stars. There's some name recognition, but they weren't stars. But their dunks were so good and so memorable that you were captivated. You couldn't leave your television because the dunks were ridiculous. The dunks were sick. The dunks were big time. So you were good. You didn't have to, even though the name recognition wasn't high at the time. You knew who they were, but the name recognition wasn't high. And so, but those guys captured your attention by what they did. They captured your attention by the dunks that they did. We were hoping for that tonight. We were hoping, okay, Jalen Green's not a big name. He was a high draft pick. He was number 2 overall in this year's draft, but he's not a big name. And Houston's not a very good team. Juan Toscano-Anderson, not a big name. Obi Toppin, we know who he is, but not a big name, right? Karl-Anthony, we know who he is, but not a big name. So we were hoping that being that they're not big names, that they would do something to make us feel good, do something to make us excited, do something to make us happy, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. They didn't capture our attention. And so, being that didn't have any name recognition, people are probably leaving and turning off their TVs left and right because, again, those guys don't bring anything in terms of name recognition, and they didn't bring anything in terms of dunks. So, if you don't have that, if you don't have those two things, well, guess what? It's not going to be an exciting dunk contest, and it's not going to be an exciting All-Star Saturday. It kind of took out, it diminished the night a little bit. The three-point shooting contest was fun. Karl-Anthony Towns, who was jacked up for that, who was excited, who was put a lot of energy, and in terms of that, it was exciting. You had Trae Young, obviously an All-Star, Levine an All-Star, Van Vliet an All-Star. So you had all these All-Stars there doing the three-point shooting contest. So that made sense. That made sense that there will be a level of excitement there because you had name recognition. But the dunk contest was like, man, do something, dude. Do something. And none of them could do anything. They just could not do anything. I understand why the Stars are reluctant to do it. I mean, I get that. I mean, if you're a star, usually you're going to be, if you're a star, you're an all-star. And so if you're a star, you're going to be an all-star. And so in terms of people being excited about that, I mean, in terms of you playing the game, you're going to have a long weekend. You got the game on Sunday night, right? You got dunk contest on Saturday night. It's a lot. That could be a lot. And obviously there's going to be, obviously going to be a big time party scene, All-Star weekend. So, it's a lot of things that you're doing. And, obviously you probably don't, you got the media obligations that you have to do. Maybe you got some sponsorship obligations that you have to do. So it's a lot for a star player to do dunk contests and then play the game and then handle all the other stuff as well. So yeah, media, man, that takes a lot out of you. That's a lot. That's a lot of talking, right? Probably answering a lot of questions that you don't want to answer, right? You're talking about some things you probably don't really want to talk about. And so you're out there doing all these things all night long. Your obligations are a lot. And so you might be reluctant to do the dunk contest because, again, you don't want to take all that from you. You don't want to take all that stuff from you. Obviously, you're doing a lot of things, and that could be draining. You don't want to do that. So I get it. I get it. This dunk contest, it just wasn't good. Bill Simmons has a great tweet out. It's a great tweet by Bill Simmons there. Let's talk about that dunk contest again. Let's never talk about that dunk contest again. It never happened. So Bill Simmons is saying, let's not even talk about it. It's not, let's just take it from our minds and let's just suppress it. Let's just suppress that memory of the dunk contest. Let's just suppress it. Let's forget about it. Let's act like it never happened. So here we go. The dunk contest. So let's talk about and recap All-Star Saturday night. Started out with the skills competition. You had Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen win. And then it ended with the three-point shooting contest with the winner being Karl-Anthony Towns. Oh, they had another event, but I'm not too sure about that. I don't remember. I mean, that's what Bill Simmons is telling us to do. Let's suppress it. I mean, we all have, issues that we encounter as our childhood, traumatic events that we encountered as, adults even, and we try to suppress it. So that's what we're going to have to do tonight. This was a traumatic experience for us, watching this dunk contest and not seeing much excitement, seeing some garbage dunks, right? So now it's time for us to just forget about it. Let's just forget that it ever happened. It never happened. This dunk contest never happened. Never happened. There was no dunk contest tonight. There was a skills competition and a three-point shooting contest. There was nothing else tonight. That was it. Bill Simmons, that's what he's asking us and telling us to do. I think, Bill, you might be right. Let's suppress some things. Let's act like this never existed. let's act like it never happened. Let's just run far away from it. Let's just focus on the All-Star game. Let's just focus on what's happening tomorrow. Let's just forget about the past. They tell you not to look back. They tell you to forget about the past. They tell you not to focus on the past. They tell you to focus on the future. So let's focus on today and the future, right? I mean, yes, it is. I mean, yes, we're right. It was just yes, you're right. So right, let's just. So it's depressing, I feel depressed today after watching that dunk contest. So I'm gonna suppress it because because I feel depressed about what happened. I'm gonna suppress it. I'm gonna act like it never happened. It just didn't happen. It didn't happen tonight. There was only 2 events tonight at All-Star Saturday night. That was it. And we had Steph Curry playing some game there, him and his wife. Oh, that was fun. That was memorable. More so than this dunk contest. Everything that happened tonight was more memorable than the dunk contest. It was just that simple. It was bad. It was bad. So it is something that we should try to forget. It is something that, maybe is there anything else that we could think about? Yeah, we can think about the second half of the NBA season. We can think about the All-Star game tomorrow, right? Might be some good food that you're eating tonight, All-Star Saturday night, right? You might be eating some good food, so you can think about the food that you ate, all those good things. If you're Cleveland, maybe you're thinking about the party scene that's going to be, happening in downtown Cleveland. Maybe that's going to be bumping tonight. Maybe that's going to be jumping off. Maybe people are going to be out and about celebrating, having a good time, enjoying All-Star Saturday night. Obviously, the star power is high. It's going to be a lot of stars. Maybe the top 75 guys, some of the older guys, maybe they're out and about as well. Who knows? But again, what we experienced Saturday night in terms of dunk contest is something I don't think we ever want to experience again. That is something we don't want to experience again. That is something we hope never happens again. It takes sometimes these type of situations where something is just super bad, where people have to react and respond. And the league might be in a position where they're going to have to react and respond because it was bad. It was that bad. Or maybe they can try to be in a situation where they can compel certain guys to do it. Where they can, kind of nudge a Ja Morant to get in there, nudge Anthony Edwards to get in there, nudge Aaron Gordon to get back in it, nudge a Zach LaVine. And I think Zach LaVine's probably done with it at this point. He had some injuries along the way. So, I mean, maybe they can do that. Maybe they can just nudge some people or do what, just flip-flop the three-point shooting contest, the dunk contest, and, don't make it the marquee event. Make the three-point shooting contest the marquee event, which has been over the past few years. It's really that simple. Yeah, maybe a bonus of some sort, right? Maybe a bonus. Maybe. I mean, but these guys, if you're a star, if you're Ja Morant, you're going to eventually you're eventually going to make a big time. You're going to have a big time contract, right? You're going to get that contract. Anthony Edwards is going to get a big time deal. So if you're one of these stars, for you, it's like, well, we're always have the max contract, right? Or we're in line to get the max contract. So why am I going to put myself in that position where, look, Cole Anthony dunked at Tim's tonight, right? More than, obviously he got by, wasn't hurt or anything. But you're dunking in Tim's. And there's a possibility when you're dunking in Tim's that you could get hurt. Obviously, he didn't get hurt. Obviously, he was good. Obviously, he survived. Obviously, there was no issue, no problem. But again, he's dunking in Tim's. And you dunk in Tim's, there's always the possibility for injury. So, yeah, there's a possibility for injury. So if you're a star player, why would you really want to be bothered with the dunk contest? I don't think there's really an incentive only for the love of the game, only if you care about growing the game or if you're trying, in your opinion, like, look, if I'm Ja Morant, if I join the dunk contest, I could benefit the game, right? So you look at the Olympics, and the Olympic, it's an obligation for these guys, but it grew the game, right? The 92 Dream Team grew the game. It helped make the game an international sport. they help make the game an international sport. So the dunk contest, maybe just for the good of the game, maybe a John Morant will come out there. Again, maybe an Anthony Edwards, maybe LeBron James, right? Maybe, obviously, LeBron's not going to do it this year because he's banged up. But maybe next year. But, he is an advanced age at this point. So, again, it's not very – why would you do it if you're LeBron? Again, other than for the good of the game, why would anybody, a star – and again, if you're a star, maybe you want to grow your brand, if you will, and maybe that will help you grow your brand. Who knows? But it was just not a memorable night in terms of dunk contests. There's no getting around it. What we saw was not fun. Wasn't fun. In fact, it may have been one of the worst dunk. It goes down as one of the worst dunk contests of all time, maybe the worst. But actually, there was many years ago was a dunk contest between Kareem. Kareem was dunking, and man, it was just some average, regular dunks. Even some of the dunks with Dr. J and Larry Nance in that dunk contest, just some dunks that are not very compelling dunks. But again, that was when the dunk contest was new. And so I think in this world that we live in, right, it is a different world we live in. There's a lot that can take away your attention, whether it's TikToks and social media and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. All these things can take away your attention real quick. And then, you're living in the age where you got all these channels that you have access to. You got streaming services that you have access to. So, you got a lot of things at your disposal in terms of entertainment. And so you want to be entertained. You want to be entertained. And you want to be happy watching a dunk contest. You want to be, excited. You want to jump up like, oh my gosh, he just did that. You want to do all those things. And tonight, you probably got the remote and you said, you know what? It's time to turn. I'm done. I'm done with this. This is not compelling. I'm turning off my TV. I'm watching something else. I'm not watching this no more. I'm not watching it. This is just bad. This is bad. I'm not watching it no more. And I think, we saw that. I think we had a lot of people who turned off their TV. You got a lot of people who turned off their TV. A lot of people. And if you were in person, you probably got something to eat or left early. Got to jump on the party scene in Cleveland. Stephen A. Smith, he says, I'm going to do the nicest thing I could possibly do pertaining to the NBA slam dunk contest. I'm not going to utter a single word until Monday. So Stephen A. Smith, obviously another one, not happy about the All-Star game tonight. So, he wouldn't be any different than anybody else who loves and watches the game of basketball. It's just not a good look. Not a good look. Not a memorable night. Not something we're going to think about for years to come. It's just not. It's not. But again, it's on to Sunday. And it's on to the NBA All-Star game. Now we can focus on tonight. We could focus on the dunk contest, and why not? We could look at it, but we would be coming down and using the same adjectives: bad, abysmal, terrible, boring, lackluster. Right? We'd be using the same adjectives, and maybe you got some better ones that you could use to describe this All-Star game. Right? But there's definitely there's a lot of adjectives that you can use to describe what we saw tonight. What we saw tonight was not good. Just not good. Just not good. It's just not something you want to ever see in your life. It's not. But hey, it is what it is, man. It's All-Star Saturday night, and it was not compelling. It's All-Star Saturday night, and it was very boring. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And we move forward. We move forward. So this could be the thing that changes things. This could be the thing. This could be the thing that will cause changes. This could be the thing that makes things different. This could be the thing that finally tells the league and shows the league that it's time to do something different. This could be it. This could be it. You just mad because Cavs team? No. I mean it's All-Star weekend. It don't matter. It don't matter at all, K-Biz. It doesn't matter. It's just All-Star weekend. Credit to those Cavs, though. I mean, it is fitting that Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland got it done tonight. That is fitting. They're host city. Cleveland, obviously, is a surprise of the league. You got to be happy if you're a Cavs fan at this point. You're going to get bonus basketball because you're going to make the playoffs. Tomorrow's it's going to be good. The All-Star game might be. I mean, the All-Star game is going to be the All-Star game, right? I mean, like I said before, NBA does the All-Star game better than anybody else, but it's still, it's still not great, but it's better than anything else, right? It's better than the Pro Bowl. It's better than the NHL All-Star game. It's better than Major League Baseball's All-Star game. It's better. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be some up and down basketball, lots of dunks, lots of excitement. And again, it's good, that Cleveland is good again. The Cavaliers are good. And again, that's a good thing. That's a good thing for, a mid-major market, right? A smaller market, I should say. Midwest team doing well, playing some good basketball. And again, it's good that Cleveland's finally doing good without LeBron, right? Because, it was, LeBron came, turned the fortunes of the franchise around, left, franchise got bad, came back, won a championship, and did what he needed to do in the lane. And again, LeBron could come on back to Cleveland. He said, don't rule it out. And I think it would be exciting. I actually hope it happens. I think it's fitting. I think that's where it belongs. LeBron James belongs in Cleveland. So I hope LeBron does end his career in Cleveland. It would be cool if he ended his career in Cleveland with his son. That would be compelling. That would be nice. We'll see what happens. But I think that would be cool if King James does just that, goes back to Cleveland and wins it. Well, I don't know if he'll win it with the Cavs, but it'll be fun, right? Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not trading any of your core pieces for LeBron, but LeBron's still playing at a high level. But I agree, you're not trading your core pieces for LeBron. Look, Cleveland is building something here, right? I mean, Jared Allen turned himself into an all-star. Evan Mobley is a big-time rookie, and Evan Mobley just has the goods, man. He just has the goods. Darius Garland turned himself into a upper echelon point guard. Yeah, I mean, getting Karis LeVert is huge. See what happens with Sexton going forward. What they do there. Do they pay him the money, bring him back? Do they decide to, maybe a sign and trade situation? So it should be interesting what the Cavs do there. Okoro, decent player, solid defender. A lot of Andre Iguodala vibes when it comes to Isaac Okoro. Not a big time offensive player, but he's a solid defender, athletic. Can do winning things, right? So I see a lot of Iguodala vibes with Okoro. And you look at Iguodala. Iguodala is probably going to be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. Probably going to be a Hall of Famer. So not a bad comparison for Okoro. But one of the reasons he was a Finals MVP, but one of the reasons he won, and he won with the Warriors, and they won a lot. They had a lot of success. So that's one of the reasons Iguodala is probably going to be a Hall of Famer. So you get Jimmy Bucket vibes. I know that's his favorite player, Okoro, Jimmy Butler. I know he tried to pattern his game against Jimmy Buckets, Isaac Okoro. you're right. I mean, eventually, you can't pay everybody, but they'll have to figure it out. Just like everybody in this league, they'll figure it out, determine what guys they want to pay, what guys they consider their core going forward. I mean, obviously Garland is a piece. Allen probably is a piece. Obviously, he's under contract. Mobley is a piece. And you figure it out from there. You got LeVert under contract for next season. And then maybe you could talk about, if you like the fit, you could talk about extension with him. I don't know. I know there's people saying that, there's a chance Sexton still could come back. I don't think Colin Sexton is going to come back. I don't, but it should be interesting, right? It should be very interesting what Cleveland does with Sexton. I do believe his for him. I like the 6-man role for him, instant offense for him coming off the bench. Obviously his team with the length they have, with LeVert, if they decide. I mean, he's going to be under contract next year. They decide to extend it, but you got the length you're going to have with LeVert, marketing, Mobley, and Jared Allen. That's a lot of length. That is a lot of length and athletic length with those bigs, especially Mobley and Allen, right? So the length you have there, and it's going to be fun. I think this is a team that could be together for a long period of time that could do some damage, right? It could definitely do some damage. I don't know in terms of how much damage they're going to do this year because I don't think I'm questioning what kind of matchup they're going to have in the first round. When you're talking about currently they would play Milwaukee and then maybe they have to play Philly. I mean, I don't think those are favorable matchups. Now, if you can get to the 3 seed and Boston is at the 6th spot, that's a favorable situation. More favorable. And Boston actually playing some good basketball right now, but that's more favorable than playing Milwaukee or Philly. I mean, I don't think if you're Cleveland, you want to play Milwaukee and Philly in the first round. It's not ideal. Obviously, you're going to play who you're going to play, but I think ideally you want to play whoever's in that 6th seed, whether that's Toronto, whether that's Boston, right? I don't think you want to play a Philly or a Milwaukee, or even if Chicago falls down. Those top 4 teams, Philly, Milwaukee, Chicago, and Miami. I don't think if you're Cleveland, you want to play any of those teams because I think those teams would probably beat the Cavs in a first-round series. Now, I do think they could beat Boston. I do think they could beat Toronto. And so I think, again, if you're Cleveland, you want to keep trying. You want to try to get up as high as you can. You want to get as high as you can. At this point, they're 2.5 behind Miami and Chicago for the top spot in the East. And again, it could be a situation you win multiple games, you go up. You lose multiple games, you go down. So, and Cleveland, coming up in March, that March schedule is not going to be fun. And we could throw that up there. Let's throw that up there real quick. Let's throw the March schedule up there for the Cavaliers. Real quick, throw it up there, and you see what you think about it. But it's not going to be an easy situation for Cleveland come the month of March. 16 games in the month of March for Cleveland, right? 16 games. So we're looking at Charlotte. Currently, Charlotte, I believe, is the 9th seed in the East. Technically a playoff team at this point. At Philly, right? Philly's playoff team. Toronto, playoff team. Indy is not, but it is Indiana, right? You got at Miami, number 1 seed. At Chicago, hit them in Miami tied for the number 1 seed. The Clippers play hard, right? They play hard. Philly again. You got Philly 3 times. Got Denver. Denver's a good team. You got a winnable game against Detroit. LeBron comes back to Cleveland on March 21st. Again, Lakers a playoff team at this point. And, they're still the Lakers. Still have Anthony Davis if he's healthy by that point. They still have LeBron. Toronto, again, playing some good basketball at this point. Chicago, right? Should beat Orlando. Then you got Dallas. Then you got Atlanta. Atlanta just beat you, but you got Atlanta and Atlanta again. So those 16 games for the Cavaliers is not going to be easy, right? The Cavs, along the way have beaten some very good teams throughout the course of this season. Beaten some very good teams. Last time I saw they were 16-13 against teams above 500. But I think I saw that a few weeks, maybe a week or so ago. That may have changed. But yeah, their early schedule was hard. Yes, that was a difficult schedule for them, and they stepped up to the plate. And now, the end there, that month of March is going to be treacherous. That's going to be treacherous, right? And it, they're going. I mean, obviously, look, if you're going to make the playoffs and you want to be in the playoffs and make a long playoff run, you're going to have to beat the better teams in this league. That's just the bottom line. You're going to have to beat the better teams in the league. And again, Cleveland has had no issue in terms of stepping up and beating the better teams in this league. They haven't. But again, that month of March, where you got 16 games and where you got, a bunch of playoffs, 13 playoffs, you're going to have 13 games against playoff teams. Obviously Philly multiple times, and so Toronto multiple times as well, Chicago multiple times too. So I mean, it's not going to be an easy situation for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So again, I think they're going to step up to the plate because the chemistry that this team has, the way that they love playing for each other, they just have a great chemistry. They got something decent, something decent there. There's obviously something decent there. Rondo thinks is actually special. A lot of people, JB Bickerstaff said what they have in Cleveland is special. So a lot of people are saying what Cleveland has is special. And again, the chemistry is on point there. They got good chemistry. So I just look at it and I look at the Cavaliers and again, maybe they can have a long playoff run, but I really think it comes down to the matchups. It really comes down to the matchup. This is one of those years. It's kind of like the West from previous years. Like the teams are so bunched up, there was a lot of competition, and it was like, okay, it depends on the matchup. You could be a very good team that goes out in the first round, and Cleveland could be a very good team that goes out in the first round. And so, and the standard has changed, obviously, in Cleveland. The standard has changed. The standard in Cleveland has changed this year. It went from let's just make the playoffs, or make the playing game and see what happens. And then it went to now with the addition of Rondo, right? With the addition of LeVert. Well, Rondo obviously replaced the Rubio, but more so LeVert. The addition of LeVert. Obviously they took a chance there bringing him in. I mean, they didn't give up a bunch to get LeVert. I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine, the LeVert trade. I actually think the LeVert trade was great. I think the LeVert trade was a great trade for the Cavaliers. And so, I think, looking at that trade, and again, LeVert, got off to a decent start. Last couple games, trying to find his way. And again, chemistry, man. It takes time to put a guy in and plug him in and figure out the chemistry part and figure out where he likes the ball and things of that nature. That stuff takes time. That doesn't happen overnight. So they're still working through that part of it. But I think when it all gets right and comes together, I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. But I just think when it comes to the Cavaliers, it's going to be matchup dependent. It's going to be matchup dependent. It's going to be matchup dependent. And so you don't want Milwaukee. You don't want Philly in that first round. You don't want that. You don't want Milwaukee. You don't want Philly. It's not something you want in that first round. But look, at the end of the day, I don't care what happens. Like the Cavs could be, win 40, 46, 47, 48 games and get to the first round and lose in the first round. Would their season still be a success? Yeah, definitely still would be a success. No matter what, I think, them making the playoffs makes their season a success. It would be nice for them if they can make a long playoff run, but them getting to the playoffs would make this season a success for the Cavs. That I think Cleveland will walk away saying they had a successful season if they make it to the playoffs And let's just say they play Philly or Milwaukee and they lose in 7 games. Well, you can't put your head down if you lose to the world champions, the defending world champions, Milwaukee Bucks. And you can't put your head down if you lost to a Philly team that has James Harden, then won the MVP a couple years ago, and then Joel Embiid is probably going to win the MVP this season. You can't put your head down, right? You can't. You see, you talk about LeVert. Yeah, I don't know why the Patriots couldn't get more for him when he's averaging, nearly 30 points. LeVert is a bucket getter. He gets buckets. Karis LeVert gets buckets. The dude gets buckets. And again, it's going to take some time. I know they've been bringing him off the bench, but I think you should put him in the starting lineup. I think they should put him in the starting lineup at this point because he's going to be the guy I think that you're going to run with come playoff time. I think it's time to put him in the starting lineup, letting him acclimated with the starters, with the top, with the Mobleys and the Allens and the marketing. Larry Markkinen's probably going to be back after the All-Star break. He was pretty close before the break, but he's probably going to be back after the All-Star break. So getting him back is going to help. It's going to be interesting how they play off each other, Markkinen, just with LeVert and all those guys. Markkinen, before he left, was playing fairly decent basketball. But, it's going to be interesting. Cleveland's an interesting team. They're a very compelling team. And for them to put themselves in the position that they're in, and for them to have an opportunity to be in the playoffs, for them to have 35 wins after 58 games is amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. No one expected that. No one expected that. I mean, I think everybody expected the Cavs to struggle this season. And if not struggle, barely make it. Barely make it to the playoffs. Nobody. But they find ways. And they turn it around and they got it done. So Cleveland at this point, 16-14 against teams above 500. So 16-14 against teams above 500 this year. 19-6 against teams below 500. So they handle their business against bad teams. The chemistry is really weird with LeVert. He got 2 shots and maybe 3 touches in the first half of the last game. Yeah, I mean, when he first came, it seemed like he was fitting like a glove. The last couple games, especially against Atlanta, it looked weird. It did look weird. And it didn't, and it could be just trying to mesh with Garland and trying to, figure that whole thing out, right? In terms, because, you remember LeVert, believe when he had that 42-point game, his last game with the Pacers, I believe he was running point guard there. So he had the ball in his hand a lot, right? So it's going to be, I think they'll figure it out. And I think he's the perfect piece for Cleveland because they needed a bucket getter. And they needed a guy who can break down the defense, a guy that can hit a 9-1-1 shot when you need a 9-1-1 shot with the shot clock running down. Right? They don't have one guy in reality who could do that in Garland. They needed another guy who can do it. And LeVert is that guy. Again, it just got to figure out the chemistry piece. And I think JB and those boys will figure it out. I don't know if the All-Star break helps or hurt that situation. Obviously, you try to figure it out and then you get 9 days off and you got to try to figure it out again. So, I mean, maybe it gives you more time to watch. Well, could give you more time to watch film to figure out, okay, this guy belongs here, he belongs there, and let's just make this thing work. I don't know. But we'll see what happens going forward with the Cavaliers. But again, them making a long playoff run is matchup dependent. They easily win 48, 49, maybe even 50 games and bow out in the first round depending on the matchup. That's just the way it helps. That's just the way the East is at this point. That's just the way the East is at this point. It's that competitive. Back to the slam dunk contest. It was a bad night in Cleveland in terms of the slam dunk contest, in terms of your marquee event, in terms of the main event. It was bad. It was not very good. The dunks were not compelling. The dunks were not interesting, and it just was not a good night. If you came for a memorable night in terms of the dunks, you went home unhappy. You turned your TV off. Probably after probably the first round you turn your TV off. Maybe you stuck around and think, okay, maybe at some point somebody's going to rip off a compelling dunk. Maybe Obi Toppin could do something special. Maybe Juan Toscano-Anderson could do something interesting. Maybe Jalen Green could do something compelling. Maybe. But you probably turn your TV off right away, sooner than later, right? Because you were not compelled by what you saw. Just wasn't a good night for the NBA, but definitely a good night in Cleveland for all the Cleveland Cavalier fans and all Cleveland. I mean, uh, coming off the pandemic. Well, we're still in the midst of a pandemic, unfortunately, but maybe there's some signs that it could be relenting a little bit. But you never know what's going to happen with this. We thought that. I think people thought that last year, and then the pandemic came back. Omicron was a big time spreader. A bunch of people got it, including myself. Beat it, but it wasn't fun. So so we'll see what happens with COVID and what it's going to bring for the rest of 2022 and beyond. But at this point, it seems like a lot of entities and a lot of cities are opening things up, and it could bode well for the Brooklyn Nets if New York City at some point rolls back the vaccine mandates and decides that what once they roll that back, Kyrie will be able to play, and maybe and that would obviously be a benefit for the Brooklyn Nets in terms of them trying to build chemistry as they go into these playoffs. I mean, it's going to start getting warmer soon at some point. I mean, we're about to head into the month of March, and so may get a little warmer, and so maybe that helps as well. And obviously, people are going to be more out and about. So maybe at that point, Mayor Eric Adams of New York City decides to roll back those vaccine mandates and allow Kyrie to play. Adam Silver, said this week that he thought the mandates for New York City was weird because visiting players who are not vaccinated can play in New York City. But if you work in New York City, live in New York City, I guess you have to be vaccinated. So it's kind of weird. You would think any and everybody who comes to New York who is unvaccinated plays can't play. You would think that would be the case, but it's not. So it's kind of a little backwards from that standpoint. Whether you agree with the vaccine or disagree with the vaccine, that particular situation is a little backwards. It's backwards. I mean, if any player was unvaccinated and they played in New York or they're playing in New York, they come to the Garden or going to Brooklyn, Barclays, they shouldn't be allowed to play if a mandate is in place saying that you have to be vaccinated. So therefore, I mean, I agree with Adam Silver. I think Kyrie should be allowed to play. I think, especially with the cases going down. But again, that's I don't like to get too political, but I mean, it is what it is. Just for him, I think if the vaccine mandates do roll back in New York City, I know they're rolling back in Philadelphia shortly. At one point, you needed to be vaccinated to go into restaurants and entertainment places and things of that nature, entertainment venues and things of that nature. But that's about to be rolled back in Philadelphia. So maybe it'll be rolled back elsewhere as well. But, yeah, Kyrie got to do something. He got to do something. But, it is what it is. If you work in New York, you're going to have to get vaccinated. Otherwise, they fired a few people recently. It's just the way it is. I mean, it is what it is. That's the law, and you got to find a way to work around it. And I mean, Brooklyn at the beginning of the year, they were saying, you know what, we're not going to do this. We're not going to let Kyrie, play road games. We're not going to do that. In the beginning of the year, then COVID hit, Omicron hit, and they lost a bunch of players. And they didn't really have a choice. I mean, I didn't like it. I thought you should have let him play road games from the standpoint of this. Kyrie Irving's a special talent, and you don't want to leave a special talent at home, right? If he can play on the road, let him play on the road. Let him play on the road. If that's all he can play on, then let it. So be it. So I mean, I didn't agree with Brooklyn what they did with that in terms of that, and ultimately because of the COVID and how it wrecked. I mean, Omicron wrecked the NBA for a period of time. All those dudes who were getting 10-day contracts, all those guys getting 10-day contracts, right? Joe Johnson got a 10-day contract. 4 years, Joe Johnson got a 10-day contract. So a lot of guys got 10-day contracts at the time, and some people took advantage of. Marquise Chris in Dallas, he took advantage of his 10-day contract and ultimately got put on. So the reality is, I understand why Brooklyn did what they did in terms of bringing Kyrie and bringing him back and letting him play road games, but I thought they should have did that all along. I thought they should have allowed this guy to play road games all along. But hey, that's their choice. And then obviously he's back, he's playing. And I do think by the time April comes, considering what's going on around the country in terms of certain cities, I know DC rolled back their vaccine mandate as well. Philly again. So maybe at some point New York could be next. New York could be next, and Kyrie will be allowed to eventually play at Barclays Center and Madison Square Garden as well. So we'll see what happens in terms of that going forward. Obviously, it could have an impact on what happens the rest of the way and what happens in the playoffs. So it means something, right? The vaccine situation is going to mean something, and how New York handles it going forward, and how that's going to be handled by New York City and Mayor Eric Adams. Does he roll him back, or does he keep him going? Who knows? I think at some point, considering what's going on in other cities, that it could happen in New York City where they roll back the vaccine mandate, then Kyrie will be good to go. Just based on what you're seeing around the country, right? At one point when New York did it and San Francisco did it, when they added the mandates, you were thinking, okay, I think Chicago did it as well. But you were thinking at the time, eventually Boston did too, and then Philly did it recently. But you were thinking at the time that a bunch of major cities around the country were going to have vaccine mandates, right? That's what you figured at the time. San Francisco, New York, you figured, okay, maybe a bunch of others would do it as well. But and that's the way it's trending in terms of rolling back those vaccine mandates. Philly, rolled them back. Like I said, DC. So eventually you're thinking maybe New York could be next. Who knows? I know at this point, Mayor Adams is still sticking with it, but maybe that changes. I don't know, a few weeks from now, once things start to warm up a little bit and the COVID cases continue to drop, as they have been of late. So we'll see what happens in terms of that. Again, we're about to get out of here shortly, but again, NBA dunk contest was a dud. Recapping, Evan Mobley, the Cavs, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, they won the skills competition. Karl-Anthony Towns won the three-point shooting contest, and Obi Toppin of the New York Knicks won the dunk contest in a not so very compelling situation. Just was not interesting at all. So a lot happened tonight. Wasn't the greatest, but it is what it is. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, come on back. Looking to be here tomorrow night during the All-Star game and after the All-Star game to talk about what we saw. But again, Cleveland rocks, right? Yeah, Cleveland rocks. But, it wasn't rocking tonight because it wasn't exciting. But we'll see if Cleveland will be rocking tomorrow as All-Star game plays Sunday night out there in Cleveland. Beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. So again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're about to get up out of here. Have a nice night. See you later. Take care.